Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the second session of the day. I think this is the session that many of you are probably looking forward to hear about because we talk a lot about the world is in problem. We talk a lot about the new energy can save us. And we all know that the world is in problem because of technologies. We use lots of energy. We use lots of environment resources. We use lots of mineral to create the technology that we use today. And in Thai, we say that Nam Yok Heo Nam Bong. So the technology bring us in. We believe that it is technology that gonna get us out of the problem. We see the tips of the iceberg. We see the new technology that bring about the way to utilize clean energy. We try to solve many problems of the new technology that bring about the clean energy, but itself also create new problems. We know that we use solar cell, and solar cell produce energy during the day. But at night, we try to do the storage system. We start to learn that using storage system with vast amount of mineral use going to create another problem. We see the edge of the problem on the carbon emission. We talk a lot about net zero. We talk a lot about reduction of carbon utilization. We talk about a lot about how to capture it back. But when we talk about battery, we also start to see another problem. How do we efficiently store those energy, and how do we keep doing that without harming the environment? So this session, we going to see the future technology trends toward the energy transition. It is very lucky that we have many distinguished guests going to share the edge of the technology that they see and in practice that they can use. We have Dr. Sumitra from NTech, which is the research institute in Thailand. She expert in various energy utilization form, and she going to talk some on hydrogen utilization. We have Dr. Narin from EGAT going to talk about the overseeing the energy production of Thailand. What is the future plan when we step away from fossil energy consumption? We have Dr. Attapong from SCG Clean Energy. The word is nice, clean energy. Don't you like it? It's the new business line of SCG that focus toward how do we going to utilize energy and doing the business or that for some time ago saying it's a create problem. So SCG not only going to correct themselves, going to make the technology that better for everyone to use. Dr. Suvit from Banpu next. Banpu also have Banpu next, which are talking about the future. And Kun Pakon from B Grim and Kun Jom Sap from Super Energy. All of them going to talk about the new progress in utilize clean energy and their future in utilize various technology, including the battery energy storage system and even hydrogen and the horizon on hydrogen plan. So I think I talked too much. Let's hear from our speaker, starting from Dr. Sumita, please.
Thank you, Professor Shugyet, for the introduction. For my topic on the future technology trends towards energy transition, we have several energy technologies to talk about. But for instance, first of all, I would like to talk about this SAF, or Sustainable Aviation Fuel. As you can see from the left-hand side in the graph, that is the emission from aviation industry. So the key element of the emissions reduction strategy are the SAF from sustainable feedstocks. For this one, it could result in them approximately about 80% reduction in the carbon dioxide emitted by the aviation industry from the fossil fuel. So all types of SAF can contribute to the long-term global aspirational goal of the net zero CO2 emission by 2050. So the journey of the sustainable aviation fuel, the feedstocks can be from the biomass, or it can be from the animal fat, or it can be from the used cooking oil to be processed for the SAF and then to be used. For activities in Thailand, we have already initiated the SAF activities with the U.S. Government and also with the university from Hawaii in the U.S. That for this one, we have several activities together with private partners to prepare for the production of SAF in Thailand. For example, Bangchak, Midpon, PTT groups, and also the main user is Thai Airways. For the SAF industry itself, we still have several challenges to conquer. For example, the development of the infrastructure is very crucial for the production itself, for the storage, and also for the distribution of SAF itself. And also there is right now is lack of discussion on the sustainability and also for the economic viability of the feedstock itself. So the gathering of used cooking oil is very challenging right now. That if we want to have a lot of them in the industrial scale, that is still questionable. That how can we use it? How can we do it economically? And also, we have to invest on the R&D to diversify the feedstock options and also to promote the sustainable alternative that will not compete with the food supply. So these are all the key challenges right now for the SAF to be competitive. And also, so we are talking about the funding models as well, and also strategies for the aviation industries for the transition to SAF. So for Thailand itself, we have the policy for using SAF. This is only a guideline that we are going to break into 3 phases. The phase 1 is that from the year 2027 up to the year 2029. With this one, we are going to blend about 2% of SAF. And then after that, we're going to blend about 3%. And then for phase 3 from the year 2033 onward, that we're going to set the minimum of the SAF mix ratio of about 5 to 8%. This one to promote the expansion of the SAF production capacity to the in line with the policies and to increase the demand of SAF from around the world. But to have the SAF in really applicable in the industry, we need to map all the stakeholders ecosystem to drive the development of this SAF industry. So for the business to be profitable is relying on the strategy, relying on the policy, on technology, on the feedstock itself, and also on the financial. Right. So moving away from SAF, everyone talking about EV. EV is the transition towards the affordable e-mobility. But although the EV, we can see a lot that it has been accepted and the growth is quite high for the four-wheelers or the passenger car segment. But the transition towards the e-mobility in the more affordable segment is yet to be adopted. And for the in ASEAN itself, in this region, is number 3 and occupying almost about 24% of the world market. So we need further development in the 7 key factors as listed on the right-hand side, that we have to enable us for the policies and also with the scale sustainably. But we have to know the market itself. We have to control the cost. And also we have to be present. We have to make the EV easy. And also we have to lead the charge. So for all this, we can see that there's still a lot of things to do to be applicable for this market, for the two-wheeler itself. For the Thailand itself, we have provided this one for the transition for this affordable e-mobility in the two-wheelers, that we try to set the battery swapping platform as a standard for Thailand for the battery. This one will help to make the EV easy and also for the scale sustainable. We can create economy of the scale through the common product type. With this one, it will result in the total cost of the reduction for the ownership, and also result in the upfront cost for the customer to be reduced. And also it's easier for the repair and maintenance of the vehicle itself. This one will be more sustainable due to the common parts for the repair and maintenance and to create industry as well. For the future of battery, we cannot skip this one because everyone looking for the better battery. But what is better? Better battery, it means that we have the target of moving towards the over 500 kilowatt hour per kilogram. So this is the main target, and it has to be safer. Safer, it means non-flammable for the battery, and also cheaper. Cheaper, it means to be cheaper than 60 watt hour per kilogram. This one is already in the targets for the USA battery 500, in the Japan Rising 2, now is Rising 3, and also in EU for the battery 2030. So we are moving from lithium-ion battery to the solid-state lithium-ion, and also to alternative of lithium sulfur or lithium air. This one, in the graph, we can see that all the mapping of the energy density of all types of lithium-ion battery and beyond that I've discussed, that all the big names, as you can see, Panasonic, CATL, Samsung, LG, Moly, and BYD, already in this region, that we have to trying to improve the energy density even further, and also together with the cost to be able to survive in the future. Okay, moving from battery, another type of energy that is very hot topic right now is hydrogen. Hydrogen, together with the fuel cell, it has very high conversion efficiency with zero emission. It can be used for the fuel cell electric vehicle and also for the stationary generator. I will give you one example of the type of hydrogen usage that I think personally is very green. This one that I went to visit in Japan. This one is in Hokkaido, called Shikaoi Hydrogen Farm. This one, they can produce hydrogen from cow waste. That the hydrogen technically is produced from the steam methane reforming together with the water gas shift. That at the rate as the figure here, 70 normal cubic meters per hour, and it can store up to over 700 cubic meters. The purity can be 99.99%. So the key of this purity is that it's good enough to be used in vehicle. So it can be used to power the fuel cell electric vehicle, and the price is competitive with other diesel in Japan. With this one, actually they use from the waste from cow to produce biogas, and then from biogas to produce hydrogen, and then pressurize it. That roughly for one cow, it can produce hydrogen enough to power a car to run about 10,000 kilometers per day, per year. This is per year. So this is very good figure that it's very sustainable and reduce the emission of biogas from cows or from other animals, feedstocks. For Thailand itself, we have Hydrogen Thailand Club already started in the year 2020. And also it has been mentioned for the EPIC meeting on the low carbon hydrogen already for the production standard. So in Thailand, we can do the same as in Japan, that we can use the landfill biogas to produce the hydrogen, and then we can use hydrogen as the clean fuel. Okay, thank you very much.
Very nice, right on time. And next, Dr. Narin from EGAT going to share us about the perspective of the EGAT future.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for your kind introduction. As EGAT, we are utility state-owned enterprise. We are responsible for the power generation, and we do believe that with the future trend of technologies, we can achieve what countries need. Starting for the first one, I think the main driver is carbon neutrality policy. We have carbon neutrality by 2050. We have net zero GHG emission in 2065. These key main drivers drive us to find the new technologies, cleaner and sustainable fuel for the future. Next, I would like to focus on the hydrogen because it can be used in power generation and for the transportation as well, and it's clean and can be used 24/7 anytime that we need. From the Thailand Hydrogen Production and Utilization Roadmap, you can see that in the medium term, the main driver is from international policy, for example, like a CBAM or any carbon barriers. In the long term, carbon neutrality and net zero emission goals is the main driver. For the strategic goal, we have to prepare ourselves, be ready. We need to commercially deployment, and also for the fuel mix. From the supply side, we need to find a way to produce hydrogen, blue hydrogen from natural gas with CCS or green hydrogen. And in the next long term, is it possible for Thailand to be a hub for the hydrogen production for the Asian country? For the countries, we have guidelines for utilization hydrogen in Thailand. Starting from 2030 to 2035, there is a target to blend the hydrogen 5%. And then from 2036 onwards, it will be increased to 20%. That marks important step for the hydrogen industry in Thailand. As there is some predictions from Deloitte mentioning that from 2030 to 2060, demand for the hydrogen will be increased by 60 times. So that's drive the hydrogen production and industry in Thailand. Why EGAT consider the hydrogen? Because the hydrogen is versatile. It can be used for power sector, not only for the generating directly to the fuel cell. It can be blended with natural gas to reduce carbon dioxide emission. It can be converted to ammonia with the coal to reduce carbon dioxide emission. As you might have heard the news in Japan, they have already blended ammonia with the coal already, and it's successfully tested. So that's the goal that EGAT ourselves, we plan to do the same. Hydrogen, when you use as an energy storage, as from the curve, you can see that if we have a lot of solar, the solar can produce electricity during the daytime. But for the nighttime, we can use the hydrogen as an energy storage to produce electricity. In the past decades, as you might notice that the peak of the power demand, it was shifted from the afternoon time to the nighttime, meaning that we need to find the reliable source of power supply during the nighttime when we don't have a sun. So that's hydrogen would be one of the important and key answer. Luckily, the BOI, Board of Investment of Thailand, they launched a campaign to promote the use of clean hydrogen. For example, if you use the hydrogen produced from renewable energy, you can be eligible for 8-year corporate income tax exemption. Or if you produce hydrogen from fossil fuel with carbon dioxide, CCUS, also you are eligible for 8-year income tax exemption. Another, last but not least, if you produce electricity and steam from hydrogen, you are also eligible for 8-year corporate income tax exemption. The promotion from BOI will help stimulate and growth of the hydrogen industry in Thailand. Coming back to EGAT, we launched the strategy of Triple S. We believe that by this strategy, we can achieve our carbon neutrality by 2050. For example, we focus on the source first. We produce more and more renewable energy. Grid modernization is also needed when you have variable renewable energy. For the future technologies, if you look in the slide, we are focusing on hydrogen as well. The supportive measure for the source transformation, we still that sink co-creation like CCUS also needed. As you may know, we in Thailand right now, power generation from gas is about 60%. Even though the natural gas reduce less CO2 than the coal, but somehow natural gas still emit CO2. We need to find a way to curb and to sink that CO2 emitted from the natural gas. So we are thinking about carbon capture and also reforestation. Last but not least, all the supportive measure, all the policy need to get support from the people, from the user. That's why we come to the third one, support measure mechanism. If you notice, EGAT has a level 5, and this year we have a new level 5. If you, that's very helpful for the user to get very efficient appliance that reduce the cost of the electricity. And also BCG, biocircular green as well. Okay, this is the roadmap for EGAT ourselves. As I mentioned earlier on, we already deploy some of the floating solar. We plan to use CCUS in the commercial sites, commercial scale, I'm sorry. And also we plan to use hydrogen as a fuel for produce the electricity about 50,000 gigawatt hour in the year of 2040 something. And that will help us moving towards the carbon neutrality by 2050. This is all the project that we have. As I mentioned, I might have mentioned early on, we have a Lam Kong Learning Center which will produce the hydrogen from the wind. So the hydrogen produced from this project is a green hydrogen. We have wind turbine. We produce hydrogen from the wind power and supply to the learning center. We also have an expansion plan to use other wind turbine that we have. We have hydrogen energy storage system very close to this, here in our headquarters in Nantun Nonthaburi province. We join force with Inapter and Ban Pi Sua in Chiang Mai to produce the hydrogen in small scale supply to the learning center close to Chao Phraya River. We join force with Japanese counterparts to study for the projection and storage and transportation of the hydrogen supply chain. And we already completed the first study of the first phase. The price of the hydrogen that we study is very promising. So we will continue to the next phase. The most recent one, we joined force with the Business Sweden to join towards the green transition, focusing on the biomass and hydrogen. For the Sweden, it is very interesting that they have a track and trace biomass energy. They have a system that track the whole value chain of the biomass wood pellet production. So that's very promising because when you talk about the biomass, you need to make sure that you get the fuel which is sustainable. You don't want to cut the trees from the forest. You have to find a way that you can track that the original source of the fuel or original source of the wood, where it's from. So that's the track and trace, very interesting. And also, we have a plan to deploy hydrogen blending in our power plant from north, northeast, central, and the southern part. For the battery, everyone talk about the battery. The battery itself has a major roles in the electric, in the natural grid as well. They help as a virtual energy capability. They reduce congestion of the grid where you have a lot of renewable energy coming in, mitigate the variable of the VRE, and also working as a hybrid mode with the VRE. We have an example of Bamnetarong substation in the central part of in the Chayapum province. We have a wind, solar, very fluctuated. The combined capacity is about 200 megawatts. So we install the battery for this substation to harmonize the fluctuation of the renewable energy. Chaibadan in Lopburi province, also we have a lot of wind and solar. So we install the batteries, try to harmonize and study behavior of the VRE penetration to the grid. We have a Mae Hong Son smart grid. We have a solar, battery, and also the grid, diesel generation is combined and produce the electricity for the Mae Hong Son, which very difficult to construct transmission line to there. So we try to use as an islanding mode. We have a rooftop solar in our campus to see and study the behavior of the solar and battery. This is very interesting one because we have, as you might have heard about the floating solar project for ECAT. We have the most recent one is the floating solar at Ubunarat Dam. We combine solar, floating solar, hydro, and the batteries. Try to harmonize and maximize utilization of the natural resources we have. Okay, that's all my presentation today. Thank you very much.
From the ECAT, next let's move to the private sector, and we're lucky to have Kun Attapon, which is the CEO of the new subsidiary of SCG, SCG Clean Energy, going to talk about how SCG adapt and start the new business of energy for us today.
Thank you, Kap. So good morning, สวัสดีครับ As we know that right now the energy situation has been challenged by the very high price of the fossil fuel and the supply disruption. This is the result from the war. So the industrial, they switch to use more alternative fuel that is lower cost and more sustainable. So today, I would like to share a technology of the thermal energy generation. That is the new technology that SCG we have invested in. Before going to the details, let me introduce our SCG Sustainable Green Growth Strategy. We use the ESG platform integrated with the 4 key sustainable mission. We call in short as the ESG 4+. The first mission is we will achieve the net zero emission by 2050. By this, to achieve this target, we will invest to use the green technology across our business value chain. For example, We try to maximize to use the alternative fuel, renewable power, maximize the energy efficiency, and lower the cost. And also we will produce the low carbon products to supply to our customer. The second mission is to go green. This one, we focus to create the low carbon products and services to our ecosystem. For example, we have the ACG Green Choice products. Right now, we can sell these products in our portfolio over almost 40%. We set the target to achieve 100% recyclable packaging. And we also can provide the green electricity to our customer. This is the new business that we are doing. The third mission is we will reduce the inequality in the society. We focus on creating the job for communities and SMEs. We develop the knowledge and skills for the local people in order to increase more job values for them. And last but not least is we will enhance the collaboration to our network. We will work with the ecosystem in national, ASEAN, and global level in order to drive the ESG. And in addition to the 4 missions, we commit that we will do the business in transparent with a good governance. So from the climate change issues, we have observed that it make a change in 3 areas that relevant to our business. First is the customer and market. Second is the laws and regulation, and last is the technology that is moving towards more green and low carbon. So at CG, we set business direction to be the inclusive green growth approach, that we open our ideas from internal and external in order to accelerate the innovation strategy to launch it more quickly. In energy transition is the area that ACG we are focusing on, and we already invest. We hope that we will get the solution that is more sustainable, that can lower the cost and can make the decarbonization quickly. If we look at the world energy consumption, we found that industrial is the largest user in the energy. It's around 36%, which is a huge amount. And when we deep down into the detail, we can see that most of the energy that used in this sector is a heat application. It means that this big portion of heat, that's around 25% of the total energy, come from the fossil fuel burning that will emit a lot of greenhouse gas. So we need to find the other sort of heat supply that is more sustainable and lower carbon. What do we have right now for the green electricity? We have wind and solar, that these 2 technologies is already proven and be standardized in the industry. The installed capacity has been increased from the last decade in gigawatt scale. And we found that the total unit cost of the solar and wind energy decreased a lot because of the solar panel cost decrease. And recently, it is an oversupply also. So this is the key driver that will accelerate the energy transition to use more solar and wind in the industry. We have a lot of green electricity from solar and wind. So it is our opportunity to bring this to kind of electricity to generate the heat by electrification. But there is one challenge. The challenge is normally wind and solar power is available in some of the time, let's say 4 to 8 hours a day. So it cannot generate enough heat to supply for the industrial that need 24 hours operation. So it's better to find a technology that can keep this intermittent renewable energy supply in terms of the heat and then deliver to the industrial process. There is one technology we call the heat battery that can perform the function of heat storage and can generate the heat also. There are 3 main components, very simple. There is induction wire, thermal media or brick, and a heat exchanger or boiler. The concept of this technology is very simple. It looks like the toaster. We just take the electricity and then induce it to be heat and keep in the thermal media. And then we use the air to pass through this heat battery to generate steam and supply to the industrial process. Heat battery is one of the innovative technology that can help the industrial sector to decarbonize. If we look at the traditional steam generation, we will find that the supply chain is quite complex. There are a lot of activities, and on top of that, we have to handle some of the waste, like a bottom ash. So heat battery, it can generate the green steam, low carbon, low cost, secure, continuous. The first unit of heat battery has been commercialized in the US. This company is the Kaugen company in California. They use the heat in the form of steam in their alcohol production process. And on the right-hand side, you can see the thermal media. That is one of the key contents. We design with the Rondo energy with a special form to maximize the efficiency. And last but not least, we just announced a collaboration with Rondo Energy to build the first industrial scale unit in Thailand for the cement plant. And we hope that this unit will be start up early next year. Thank you, Khap.
I think all of you excited. We hear about the technology that great minds in the world start to think about what form of energy can be stored, the energy and utilized at later time. We heard about hydrogen storage. We heard about heat energy and hydrogen storage. Most of you probably heard about in form of research, but Banpu Next also have the roadmap for the plan to utilize hydrogen and in various ways. The transition of energy. Please, Mr. Suvit.
Thank you, Session Chairman, Dr. Chukit, and good morning, dear distinguished guests. It is my honor to be here, and I think this topic, the future technology trend toward the energy transition, is one of the exciting topic. And I think it's also both uh, exciting and also crucial for our sustainable future. Today, I will give some insight about what Banpu, or today, Banpu Next, what we are planning to do about the future technology and how we can transit the energy from today on the not green energy to the green energy. So let me start with introducing our company. So Banpu Public Company Limited, we are doing the energy resources, we are doing the energy generation, and we are doing the energy technology. So Banpu, we have started about 4 decades ago, or basically 40 years ago, and in the mining and shale gas business, which is not so green, you know. So we have been aware and also realized that we need to move to the greener. But also we have the Banpu Power, who is our energy generation arm, who are making reliable and also sustainable energy. And as I said, you know, as we need to move to the greener. So we have set up Banpu Next, who is the forward-looking initiative that we are focusing on the smart energy solution, such as renewable energy, ESS, e-mobility, energy trading, smart city, and behind-the-meter solution. Our aim is to make the greener and smarter future. So let me zoom down a bit on the Banpu Next. In terms of vision and mission, we want to become the global energy player that innovate a betterment for all and generation to come. So we are focused on 6 key strategic pillars, which are renewable power, solar rooftop and floating, battery and energy storage system, smart city energy management, e-mobility, and energy trading. Currently, Banpu is operating in 10 countries, but Banpu Next is in 7 countries: in China, Thailand, Vietnam, Japan, Indonesia, Australia, and USA. The project have variety, but for example, we are looking into create more green energy, starting from like solar farm in Australia until another example, wind farm in Vietnam. Then as the time limited, so let me zoom down to one of our key strategic pillar, which is the battery. For the battery market, we have looked into the global lithium-ion battery demand from Bloomberg. We can see that there are the rapid growth in the battery demand with the 19% compound annual growth rate. And this is driving from various sectors, which is the demand from the passenger car, passenger EV, commercial EV, stationary battery, and consumer electronic battery. But as you can see in this slide, you know, the majority of the consumption will come from the passenger EV, which is account more than 60% of the battery demand by 2035. Then, if we look back into how Thailand government policy can support, so we have seen that the Thailand EV 30/30 roadmap have created a huge EV production and also the EV adoption, which at the same time create the demand for the battery in Thailand. Also with the EV 3.0 to 3.5 policy, it also provide the subsidy of the EV sale and actually then boost the demand not only for the EV, but also the battery which is needed. On top, the BOI, the Board of Investment, also provide the incentive, both in tax incentive and non-tax incentive for the bus and truck, for the ESS, and for the cell production. This even give more opportunity for the ESS and cell production to complete the ecosystem of the battery in Thailand. As a result, so I'm proudly want to announce that we already have set up 2 battery plant in Thailand. This factory will produce the lithium-ion battery pack, both NMC and LFP, for the commercial vehicle and also for the passenger car, like Great Wall Motor or Neta. And the commercial vehicle can be bus, truck, or e-ferry. Our joint venture with Dura Power and SVOLT has demonstrated that we are now fully committed for this new technology and also leading into the energy transition. Then I want to summarize. So for Banpu, we have now established the Banpu Next, who is the forefront for driving the future technology trend toward the energy transition. Our goal is to convert everything to be the green energy. And also with our 6 strategic pillars, starting from the renewable power until various of the smart energy solution, will lead us to the net zero journey, which is the zero carbon credit. And also, we can see that the battery business is now have remarkable 19% compound annual growth rate, mainly driven by the passenger EV. Then we have embracing the future technology trend, and we have established the joint venture in the battery sector with 2 partners, Banpu, Dura Power, and SVOLT in Thailand, with the total combined capacity of 3 gigawatt-hour. So in this session, I'm looking forward to a continuous support from the government sector as they will play a key role for the future battery technology growth in Thailand. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next, we're going to see something that closer and things that are ready or already put in use by BGRIM. We have executive from BGRIM, Dr. Pakorn, going to share with us about the smart energy for industrial estate.
Thank you, Dr. Shukit, for introduction. And good morning, we can say good morning, everyone. I'm very honored to being here. So I think a lot of things we are talking now is about a generation part, but I think very important is so how we harmonize the different kind of technology in the generation part into the grid in order to make a grid security and a high power quality. Of course, the pricing affordability to the customer and sustainability is also very important. So today, you know that we have a lot of discussion on the requirement of the green energy for industrial sector. A lot of mechanism having discussed like CBAM, colleagues just mentioned, REC. So a lot of things is mixed together. And today, we understand that this happened. And I'd like to share a bit on a BGRIM site on how our ecosystem is look like, and which is very similar to what we are facing in the national grid for not only in Thailand, but also for the entire world of the renewable energy when it's come to the grid. As mentioned, some of you may know Big Rim already, but some may not. I just a little bit elaborate on the ecosystem that we have. Big Rim, we feed the electricity to the national grid. Also, in the same time, we also feed the power to supply the industrial user. A lot of demand from the industrial user coming like, how could I fulfill my net zero target, my carbon neutrality, and how I can fulfill this RE100. This not coming this year, but it's already long time ago coming into this challenge. Big Green Power, we are not only having a gas-fired generation supplying a power to the industrial sector, but you know, since the drive of this green coming, so solar rooftop is obvious. Most of the customer we have already installed a behind meter solar rooftop on their roof. But this is still not enough to make a customer fulfilling a target of net zero. So Big Green Power, we also create the ecosystem where the customer can utilize the green source of the energy like solar floating or solar farm. And you see having this volatility resource from the renewable energy together with the conventional gas-fired power plant is very risky to make a system more reliable. Of course, the battery source would be a flexible power, giving us the opportunity on the flexibility on in the grid control. Together with hydrogen that the speaker already mentioned, that it could be also another source having into the ecosystem where we can provide a solution for the customer to meet their own target. You see on the left-hand side on the first row is mostly on the physical installation, but not only this physical installation is required, we also have a mechanism like REC, a renewable energy certificate. We also have a green tariff for the customer, and also a technique of having this virtual power plant on different kind of the contract with the customer that we are on the developing phase. This is the first column that I show is mostly from the generation side. But you know that deliver the power to the customer, you need a transmission and distribution system. So transferring the power like back to last 20 years, you just have a one-way power direction feeding from generation to the load directly. But today it's not. So the volatility of the solar or the generation of the solar from the customer or even for the solar farm or solar float in our system can feed a bi-direction power flow. So having a smart grid control is very, very important. So smart, how can you make smart? Monitoring system is very important. Metering system is very important. So the infrastructure that you have to prepare to be smart is need to be reconsidered. Protection, for example, you have to be reconsidered. So on the second column, this is what I mentioned, that smart grid is one thing. And what about on the customer side? We talk about the demand side management. This is also very challenge on the demand side management. Once we start talking with the customer, industrial customer, I have 3 shifts. So it's very difficult for them to shift the demand. For the one who have like 2 shifts, okay, shifting the demand is not only the energy, but what about my labor? What about the security? So a lot of challenge we are facing when talking with the customer on the shaping their demand, but we keep on working on this because we know that once the solar come fully into the grid, so we would not see a duck curve anymore. So you see nowadays when the curve you see, it would not like a sink down duck curve, but sometimes it's look like a Dakura curve. So where you can see a drop of the sharp power consumption of the customer when seeing from the generation side. Of course, these two columns that I mentioned is generation side and on the transmission side and the distribution side. The last thing is directly connect to the customer. So what Big Green we are trying to work closely with the customer is to understanding on what is the regulation that different kind of the customer we have in the grid, Japanese customer, Chinese customer, even Thai customer, in a different sector of the industrial part. What is the requirement of the customer? What is the commitment of the customer to the third party when they enroll into RE100, CBAM, or any regulation on the customer country? So this we have to understand. And one thing that we could support the customer right now is how they can use the power more efficient. A lot of customers, they try very hard. Our big customer, they try very hard, changing the lamp, changing the process, changing the equipment. They try very hard on doing this. But one thing that we like to highlight to them that using the data to drive the energy is also a very challenge. Then we can explore this thing together with the customer. So you see that this economy that Big Green we are facing, we are challenging is not only the industrial sector only, not only the energy sector only, IT, OT, SCADA system, and the data system is very important on this. Let's go a little bit on detail of what I highlight in the red block is generation system and smart system. As mentioned, volatility of the renewable energy system is you cannot avoid. This is very challenging. And having a big solar farm and a solar rooftop to meet a demand from the customer, then you have to harmonize this thing together with a generation system. You cannot just leaving them feeding the power without caring on what is the impact to the generation, because you would have to deliver the quality to the customer. You have to deliver the high efficiency of the electricity to the customer. So this has to be combined together. And also, as I mentioned, the flexible resource that could help us to deliver this security and power quality to the customer is the battery. This provides not only a generating part, but it can act as a load when it's required. Another important thing is the forecasting system. You can see that the use of the data is very important now. Making a forecasting system in a day period or 15 period is very important, where our operator can exactly preparing their generation to meet a target of the customer and the feeding the power to the utility. So you can see important is not only having a single unit of a generation system, but the harmonization, a system integration. This is to secure that, to ensure that we could deliver a high reliable source to the customer, a high power quality and affordability and sustainability energy to the customer. This is very important. So touch a little bit on the hydrogen side. You can see that as Dr. Narin already mentioned, that the mix of the hydrogen into the pool gas. So we as Big Green, we own the generation where it has to buy. So we have to ensure that the mix of the hydrogen into the pipeline can still work with our turbine. And also we see the opportunity on if we mix more hydrogen into our gas turbine, then what else we have to do? We work closely with the manufacturer. And last but not least, for hydrogen, we also think as a load that we can control. If you can control this kind of the load and make a production of hydrogen, then we can use for a future business as well. So this is end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pakon. Efficiency is the key. We can use technology to improve the efficiency, so we use less energy and manage the energy. Don't you think it's a great time? I myself, as a physicist, I think it's a great time for young generation to learn that energy is energy, and we see all form of energy in action. We learn about potential energy, kinetic energy. We learn about heat. We learn about nuclear energy and chemical energy. And we all illustrate today that energy is energy. We can manage them. We can utilize them. We can store them in various forms. We store them in form of heat. We in form of hydrogen. And for those who like chemistry, water is H2O, and we divide water into hydrogen and oxygen and put them together and produce energy. So it is in Thailand we used to have Pepsi one way. So this is one way battery. It's very clean. You use it. You don't have to carry it back to recharge. You just release the water and then you bring the new one. I think next, Dr. Jom Sop will share us about how to manage different kind of energy, biogas and solar energy, and with the battery storage system, we can also utilize them efficiently. Please, Dr.
ขอบ
Jom
คุณ
Sop.
มากครับท่านประธาน First, I'd like to thank the regulator for setting up this meeting and allowing me to speak here today. Usually, I don't go out and speak a lot, but my deputy CEO Kunton requested I be here today, so I'm very happy to be here today. But when you place me after 5 great speakers, speaking on the technology, the theory, and everything else, I don't know what to say anymore. So I think the most simple thing is to go through the process, okay? I won't talk about smart grid. I won't talk about, energy efficiency. I want to talk about what you can do to help the energy transition and what Super is doing right now. First, I'd like to introduce to you Super first. Super Energy started into the energy sector 10 years ago. We are 100% renewable energy. So we mainly focus on renewable only. We do solar energy, we do waste to energy, and we do wind energy. We are in 3 countries right now, Thailand, Vietnam, and Laos, okay? The energy transition that we are talking about right now is going to be here. And if you focus on it within the next 5 years, there will be a great leap. When we started 10 years ago, if you talk about battery, storage, it will be too expensive. And people said it doesn't work. 3 years ago when I started it, my team introduced me to battery because by professional, I'm not an engineer, not like the doctor here. By professional, I'm a lawyer. So mainly I look after the contract and do consulting. But 3 years ago when we started this plan, when we won the hybrid award for the project, it was very excited. But the first key question is, as a business owner, okay, can you make money from it? So today I'm here to tell you that battery, solar, and biogas as a hybrid project, you can make money with it and you can also help the world at the same time. Okay, so this is the picture you see, the power plant. We have a PPA with EGAP for 16 megawatt. Our installation capacity for the solar farm is 49 megawatt with biogas of 1 megawatt. But the key thing is we have 136 megawatt hour of battery. So this plant, I would say, is the largest solar battery biogas in Southeast Asia right now, and it's making money. Okay, we COD in January 2023, so it's been almost 16 months right now. It's been great, and I think my deputy CEO also put in the number on the revenue and the capacity that we produce. So you can take a look at it later on. So with this system, when we started to build the plant, we want to have a history record of the generation. So when we choose the site next to our solar farm, the existing solar farm already. So if you look at the picture, the red zone on the small picture is the new solar and battery, the hybrid program. And the yellow zone is the existing solar farm right now. So we started in signing the PPA in 2021, and we were able to work through the process. But one difficulty that we encounter is COVID-19. We didn't know that was going to be a COVID-19, and it messed up the supply chain of battery, panel, and the structure, and the software system where people have to fly in to do the software system to control the system. So when we were doing the project, we were able to finally finish. The cost went up around 25%. You know, this is with negotiation with SunGrow, one of our partners, to keep the battery costs down, but we still have to increase some price with them. So during that time before the COD, we did face difficulty. So this is our main supplier. So if you are building one, because I know a lot of people win the big lot system, just like Super, win the big lot system also. So you can use the same thing that we use. For PV model, we use Ryzen, inverter, MV station, ESS, power conversion system. We use SunGrow. And for the mounting system, we use Arctech. So the system is very simple. You know, it's like having a regular solar farm, but you add the battery and the software system to it. The key is the software system, because you know with the sun, it can change every minute. You can have a bright sun right now, and then within the next 2 minutes, a cloud can come in, and then the next thing you know, it will be raining. So the prediction system and the software system to keep the energy stable at 16 megawatt, the requirement, is probably the key to the success of this project right here. So you can see the generation, okay? When we started out with the TOR from ERC, the requirement that we have was we have to serve the peak hour 100%. So meaning 16 megawatt power. During off-peak, we will serve 60%. So when we calculate out the structure, because we know what we have to do the service, we came out with this graph right here. But, you know, when you do business, difficulty always arise. And, you know, we are talking to EGAP right now if they can readjust their requirement to the TOR that was given during the ERC. So with the requirement from EGAT right now, as you heard from other speaker, the peak hour shift. So when the peak hour shift, the requirement is differently. So at this time, we have to serve the peak during the afternoon to the evening, you know. But during the daytime, we can only sell 60%. So only 10.4 megawatt hour instead of 100% of our PPA, which is 16 megawatt hour, 16 megawatt. So you can see from the red zone right here that we are losing energy that we cannot use, because by the time that we sell the off-peak only at 10.4 megawatt hour, we charge our battery and it gets filled up already by 2 p.m. So we're losing energy around 2 to 3 hours of energy per day because our battery gets filled up faster than the plan that we have with the regulation. So we are losing money right now, losing energy, not losing money. You know, but we are planning to put more energy and to talk to EGAT to reshift what was proposed. So hopefully this can get done so we can have more efficiency with the power plant. This is the income. Usually we don't show it, but within the 16 months, we were able to do 291 million. So the reason we put this on is to answer to all of you the question, does it work? It's working right now for Super. At the same time, we are getting the IREC from the power plant also. Earlier session talk about IREC, how you can buy IREC to be sure that you are using green energy. The industry is shifting so fast. Last year, we sell IREC around 40 million baht. So with very minimum cost because it was our byproduct. So our cost was around only 2 million. So, I think, with this thing right here is key. You can see the number, you can see the plant that's working right now, and you can see the efficiency of it. Right now, our conversion rate, when the energy go in and come out, we are getting around 85 to 86%. So around 14% loss from the conversion of going in and going out. It's getting better all the time with the software. And it's going to be more efficient. I think within a few years, it can bring down to around 9%. So this is one of the energy sector that we are doing, to support the energy transition. We are selling electric of 15 hours a day, solar guys. Usually when you have a solar plant, you only sell around 4.5 to 6 hours a day. We are selling 15 hours a day. And if the regulator or the government readjust and allow us to put in more panel, I tell you that we can sell 24 hours of solar energy right now. So the problem that the government is having right now is talking to people and everyone want green energy 100%. All the FDI and investors are coming in. But they are requesting green energy 100%. I'm here today to tell you that we can do it. 7-day, 24-hour solar energy with battery. Okay, just like 7-Eleven, 7/24. So thank you for having me today, and that's it for me today. Thank you very much.
Super energy is really super, right? I love you that renewable be utilized in full, provide the solution for the carbon tax and those kind of industry that really energy. I think we all heard our each speaker talking about things that are very important for the transition in energy from fossil fuel into renewable energy, as well as the way the technology involved to manage them. The battery that can carry the energy, because there are various limitations that we cannot directly use renewable energy. For example, you cannot hope to produce energy on the car roof to drive a car, but with proper battery, you can carry the clean energy around and replace the combustion engine. I think we are over time, but I have two options. One is get one or two quick questions from the floor. If any of you would like to ask something from our speaker, the floor is open right now. Yes, please. Then
I'm Tong Kam from ERC. I would like to ask Kun Attapon from SCG. Because in SCG, it imagine in the year 2050, you will not have any more refinery of fossil fuel. And in Thailand, we will have only the energy and petroleum together. What happening in the future in that? what the polymer business in Thailand, what we will do in the low carbon, because we don't have any fossil anymore. What the SCG thinking, because now you have two track. One is a biorefinery from SCG paper. Another thing that they have in Europe now is they try to use hydrogen and to use the carbon from the biomass. They use the energy transition to produce the polymer transition and use all the power at the feedstock for polymer. What are the thinking now for the SCG thinking about that?
Okay, thank you for the question, but in the first part of your question, I cannot hear clearly. But let me answer in two parts. We set the target to achieve the net zero by 2050 across the SCG group. One of the key challenges in this target is in the petrochemical business. And in our ESG 4+, that we pen the strategy for the next 10 years. SCG Chemicals, they have the technology to produce the green polymer. This one example that they are doing, and in the meantime, when we talk about the big picture of to achieve the net zero, there is a way of a method to, we say, the negative carbon offset. This one is the like carbon capture or plantation. So this is a thing that SCGV work as the group of the three core business: cement, building materials, SCG packaging, and chemicals. We work across the business unit to find the technology and the way how to decarbonize the whole group of SCG. Thank you.
One last question, please. Can somebody phone?
Thank you. My question is to Kun Jomsap. From your presentation, it's really, fantastic that you have been very successful. Even the laws that you mentioned, that that's only 14, and then you expect to come down to 9, right? So can you tell us that so that the other people can understand that what really behind of your success? Thank you. The role of the government or purely the role of the private sector?
Very, very hard to answer. I think the two roles are very important because we are a regulated industry. So we need to get the government support, and we need the right regulation from the ERC to support us. That's probably one of the most important thing, unless if we go freely and become unregulated, which I don't think is possible, because there's still a lot of contract that EGAT, PA or MEA have to honor because they sign a long-term contract. But I think the key role is, the first thing is the government support and government policy. The second thing is private sector. But as you see, I think from all of the company that are sitting up here, all of us, I think I can speak for all of us, I hope, we are ready to invest in Thailand. The reason that we go to other country is because the past 7 years, there haven't been nothing out. But if you said that, Banpu, Big Grim, SCG, and Super, are you ready to invest into Thailand? We are ready. Is it possible to be 100% green energy within time? You see the battery cost coming down very fast right now. It should be around 90,000 per megawatt hour, according to Bloomberg. I think within the next 5 years, you will see hydrogen technology and the conversion being more efficiency. So maybe in the future, if we plan it right, you know, we might not have to bring in gas and import gas. We might not have to import oil, or at least bring in less oil because of the EV. So I think we are seeing it, and we are seeing the EV infrastructure being built. But the key thing is the government support. If the government push for the support, I think all of us as private enterprise are ready to jump in and do the work. So to answer your question, two-part, it's a partnership, government and private sector working together.
Thank you very much. I think the time is up. I would like to conclude the session, but I would like to state back around the year 2000. Many of you probably heard Al Gore talk about inconvenience truth. And at that time, we just inconvenience, and the technology was not quite there yet. But today, it's more than inconvenient. We are struggle, and we all used to hear the saying, struggle make us better. And you probably heard from distinguished speaker today that we are getting better. We showed technology to use and can get out of this struggle. And there are proof, of course, with the helping of private sector, combining with government, and economists have to get into the play and try to understand the scheme of how the transition can be made smoothly, and we can live prosperly afterward. Thank you very much, everyone.